Hello guys, this is going to be a quick guide about Corpse Explosion Necromancer. I'm gonna explain the stats, skills and items, and we're gonna do a T4 map in the end. So let's start with the items. It's pretty much standard for the most part. We have Hoto, we have Shaco, with perfect topazes, Viper for sockets, Mage Fist with all resist corruption, so I don't have to use any resistance charms. Arach, I guess the best corruption here will be like +2 maximum lightning resist. The boots, we use Silk Waves mainly for the 5 mana after each kill, and the corruption you want is 10% reduce skill cooldown. It's very important here, as you will notice later on. Then the one ring is the Stone of Jordan. The best corruption here is probably 6 damage reduction. That's my end game goal. Like, if you go for the high level, I think it's the best. Like, we don't need FCR here. And then we go to the second ring, Amulet and the Shield. Why do we use Homunculus and not Spirit Shield? I tried the setup with Enigma Armor and Spirit, and I believe the Homunculus setup is better, because the Homunculus provides the similar resistance to Spirit, but what is important is the mana regeneration and the mana after each kill. Like, we are not using Insight on the mercs, so this build requires a lot of mana to work properly, and we want to stack as much mana on kill as we can. So we have 5 here, 5 from the 5 base from the Homunculus, and then the 2 sockets. I have 2 jewels with 3 mana on kill on each of them. So in total we have 16 mana on kill. And if you have like 650 plus mana and 16 mana after each kill, you should be fine in the tier 3 and 4 maps. So you like pretty much never drink the potions. Why tier 3 and tier 4? Because they have more like squishy mobs compared to tier 1 and 2. So they are just more smooth than the first 2 tiers. And with this setup, as for the Amulet and the ring, we want 15 FCR from these 2 slots. So I have a pretty good Amulet, so I'm able to use the Wisp Projector, and I'm using this ring mostly for the Magic Find and the boost, the lifted Spirit Aura that boosts my skeleton damages. It's very nice for the single target damage. But if you don't have a good Amulet, you can just use 20 FCR ring, like random ring with random stats and Mara, and it's gonna be totally fine. For resistance, we have like max everywhere. For the charms, we use 9 summoning skillers. The best is to use them with life. Oh, actually it's 8 and the Git's Fortune, sorry, for the more MF, because like the one extra skiller will not increase the damage by that much. So it's like, in my opinion, it's worth to get the Gits. So in total we have like 255 MF. With this clear speed, I think it's way more than enough. Yeah, like you can have 200 or even 150 MF with this build, and I think it's gonna be totally fine. You're gonna farm a lot of stuff. And the small charms, you just use charms with life or mana, or both of them if you want. For the faster hit recovery, you want to hit 39 faster hit recovery. So the best way to do it is 3 grand charms with faster hit recovery and the one small charm. So we have 41, which is we hit the breakpoint. For the stats, we just get the strength to 84, so we can wear the upgraded Viper Magi, and the rest goes to vitality. So you have quite a lot of life as a Necromancer. Like, it's pretty high for a neck. Why don't we go for the max block? I was thinking about it, but I was never a fan of max block, so you probably need like 200 dexterity to hit the max block, so I will drop a lot of life. I'm not sure it's worth it. Maybe I'll try one day and like it will change my mind, but for now I just prefer the vitality setup, because most of the incoming damage goes to the summons, the skeletons, so like you don't take that much damage. Okay, let's go for the skills. First thing, you want to max the corpse explosion to deal the most damage, because the damage is based on the hard points, and the like points from skills just increase the range. 16 yards is pretty much the whole screen. Like if you explode here, it's pretty much gonna cover all the screen. Desecrate, you want to get it to level 22 to don't have a cooldown on it, so you can cast like one after another. And it's important to get to 22, because when you get the level to 21, it actually says that it doesn't have the cooldown, but in reality it has. It's like very small cooldown, but it's very annoying, so it's important to put 22 points here. Then we have to curses. And in my opinion, you put if you play only solo, then all you need is the creepify, and you get it to enough level that the radius on this curse is bigger than the one of your own corpse explosion. So here we have 16 yards, here we have 16.6. So that way, whenever I cast the curse, sure that everyone mob in the range of corpse explosion gonna get it. If you are a group player, you for sure want to get a 1 point, at least 1 point in the lower resist and amplify damage for the team. Here, like, it's worth to mention that this build is not really good for if you play in a team, because the corpse explosion damage is based on the monsters from the player 1 game. So if I'm solo in the game, I need like 2 to 3 explosions to kill the whole screen. If the party is full, I'm gonna need like 10 explosions, which is like way too slow. And like in the party, all you can do is use the curse, like this one or this one, and kill the elites with your summons, because they do a lot of damage. And so let's go to the summons. First, you want to get the convocation to level 34, so you reach the lowest possible cooldown, which is 0.5 seconds. And when you have 10% cooldown on your boots, you're gonna get it lower to 0.4, which is the fastest possible. And then we max the summon mastery, rise the skeleton warrior. You put 1 point in the blood golem, and the rest go to rise skeleton mage. Oh, sorry, no. You first max the skeleton mages, and then you max the warriors, because like these ones are more important than these ones, because you are using infinity, which is a huge buff to these guys. Why don't we use iron golem with the insight? Because it doesn't work right now in the current patch. If it would, I'm still not sure I will use it, because the blood golem gives you insane amount of healing with the amount of summons you have, and they also like pretty much never die, because they have so high life gained on hit. So even if the iron golem would work, I still think it's better to stack the mana on kill on your gear and stick to the blood golem. And if you have maxed on this too, the rest of the points go to the bone wall, so it buffs your bone armor. It's important to put the points in the bone wall and instead of the bone armor, because each point here increase the skill absorb damage by 15, and if you put it here, it increase by 20, so it's just more efficient. Okay, and the mercenary, it's pretty standard. It's the infinity steel shade. You want to reach 75 attacks per 75 increase attack speed for him to hit the breakpoint. And we are using treachery, And I think I actually want to swap to try the 4-socket Gladiator Bane on him with the 3 attack speed jewels and an arm rune for the resist, because sometimes the merc die on the tier 4 map with from the Hydras. Like, they do a lot of damage to him, and sometimes even the fade is not enough, so maybe with Gladiator Banes it's gonna be better, but I'm not sure. I have to test it. So I guess the corpse explosion, 50% of this damage is physical and 50% is fire. That's why we use the infinity. So infinity buffs our skeleton mages and half of the damage from the corpse explosion. And the other half damage here, like the physical part, we buff with the Creepify. And why we use the Creepify over the Amplify damage? Simply because this provides enough to do, like with this curse we do enough damage to quickly kill all the mobs, and the Amplify damage is just not necessary, and it's way safer to play maps with this. Like the slow on the mobs, it's just incredible. It helps a lot. So I think it's we covered all the skill and gear. Let's just do the map now. Also, if you want build that it's like lay back and chill to play, you're gonna struggle a lot at the start of this, because we are using a lot of skills. I think I have like 10 skills bind to different keys, and in the actual map we constantly use 5 of them. So at the start you want to precast the bone armor and the blood golem, and then we get our skeletons. It might be annoying to get the skeletons before each map, but like if you are efficient, it just takes like 40 seconds to get them. And we are ready to go. And in map we just gonna, in tier 4 we're just gonna use the teleport, cast the curse, get the bodies and explode them. Rise and repeat. And each time you notice you don't have the bone armor, you just have to recast it. We have the flesh offering, but we're gonna use this skill only for the boss, and maybe for some like nasty elite packs, but it's mostly for the boss. Okay, so let's get it done. As you create the corpse desecrate, you always want to try to hit the 2 biggest guys, so you get the most damage out of it. Not now, dude. I guess I should put some music in the background, but it's too late now. We're just gonna play in this awkward silence. Just getting awkward. I guess I'm just gonna kill the boss and end the video. You get the idea about the playstyle. Oh, nice, tier 4. And as you can see on the boss, you just don't really cast the corpse explosion. I did only to kill the minions around him. The main damage on the boss comes from the summons, so all you do is teleport on top of him, cast the Desecrate, and cast the Flesh Offering. And the boss dies in like, how much it was? 4 seconds. One important thing about the summons is why don't we use the revives? So I tried a lot of different setups with different combinations of them, and my conclusion is that skeleton mages, you always want to max them because you are using infinity, and it's just so great the damage from them with the infinity. You cannot pass this. And the skeleton warriors deal a lot more damage than the revives. Even if you revive like all the only Udars and have 7 of them or even more, it's still better to get the warriors. They just way more powerful, and maybe you can ask, why don't we put 1 point here so we can have 7 Udars on top of that. They are great in blocking the damage, but the thing with the revives is that they block all your skeletons. So when I teleport somewhere, now you can see that the skeletons instantly spread and run to the nearest monsters. And when you have the Udars, when you teleport somewhere, the Udars gonna block all the skeletons, and they're gonna stay like on top of you unless you move. So in map, I notice it's better for the clear speed when you can just teleport and do your stuff with the explosions, and the skeleton's gonna run to the closest monsters. And instead of you like teleporting, you always have to move to like let them go. So I decided to just play without the revives. And another thing is like you have to recast them each 10 minutes. Yeah, of course it's not that often, but when you run a lot of maps, it just gets annoying. You already have to summon all the minions at the start of each game, so if you add the revives, it's in like each 10 minutes, it's just too much. Okay guys, I think I covered most of the stuff I wanted. If you have any other questions, just put them down in comments on Reddit. I'll try to answer all of them. Thanks.